to Third Wheel, the show where we talk about anything that interests us whatsoever, and we play games and make each other hate each other. I said each other a lot then, but whatever. I'm Steven, and I'm joined by Brandon and Grace. Say hello.
Hi.
Hey.
I said say hello. Neither of you said
Hello.
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 Alright, if you haven't been here before, basically how this works is every episode there's a third wheel. The third wheel is determined by being the loser of the episode, not contributing as much as the other two, decided on a vote, or losing a game in some manner on some make-up rules or whatever, or throwing it all away in the wheel of fate because you're a fucking idiot. And the third wheel is the person who gets to pick the topic for next week's episode. Last episode, Grace was the third wheel and gets to pick today's topic. But beforehand, what's going on with you guys? What's new?
Stuff. Things.
I got a
school.
mosquito bite on my hand.
That's not new information.
Okay.
Brandon, why is it that like your riveting small talk is just a few words?
Well, I would
Yeah.
answer that if I knew the I would answer that if I knew the
I would
answer.
answer if I had an answer, but I don't seem to have an answer.
I don't know how to answer that.
There's nothing new going on in your life since the last episode. Nothing new.
I have a final tomorrow. I'm not looking forward to that.
Why not?
Because my brain hurts. I'm tired.
That's fair.
I am. Yeah.
What about you, Grace? What's new with you? What's going on?
No, not a lot. At the school I work at, it is Teacher Appreciation Week, and I gotta say, boy, do I not feel appreciated. Everything that they're like, our parent club sets up like special little things every day this week. But the thing is they keep bringing in sugar, so it feels like they're trying to kill us by
Interesting.
like giving us diabetes.
They're drugging you, putting you on a sugar high.
But you know what? I did. A little girl gave me like a little clay cutout, and then she painted an owl on it because we're the kindergarten owls. Owls standing for outstanding wise learners.
Where's the S in that?
Learners. S.
The S in learners is capitalized.
Well, I'm just saying because there's multiple of them. That's not part of the abbreviation.
So you're one owl with all of the owls. So it's all capital owl with a lowercase s.
Yes.
Cool.
Anyway, but
really
I got this really cool like big ass Starbucks cup that is like beyond bedazzled, and it kind of hurts my eyes to look at it because it's so shiny.
Fair enough.
But I brought it to work today and drank out of it because I wanted her to know that I appreciated it. But it was cute. And then inside, she had hand wrote it herself. Sometimes parents just write it for them, but she did. She said, "Thank you for all your help. Love," the student's name. But inside was like a $10 Starbucks gift card. I didn't know that they made gift cards in weird shapes. That one was like in the shape of an apple, specifically made for Teacher Appreciation Week.
Those ones are super weird.
I didn't know that they made those, but yeah, I guess it was specifically for Teacher Appreciation Week because it said like best teacher ever. It was in the shape of an apple. So I was like, cool. The only reason I've started going to Starbucks is because as a teacher, that's like the default gift you get. You get like Starbucks. So many Starbucks gift cards.
Maybe I should become a teacher.
I can honestly say like what you lack in pay, you make up for in Starbucks gift cards.
Make up with Starbucks. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you really do. Christmas, Valentine's Day, Teacher Appreciation Week. Sometimes if the class likes you enough, your birthday.
If the class likes you enough.
Well, because I joined later, so I'm not very close with any of the parents in my class.
Mm-hmm.
So They didn't do anything for my birthday. Other classes do stuff for their aides, but no, my teacher, I had to let my teacher know because our receptionist was like, "Hey, Grace," and she like pulled me aside and she's like, so a couple of the parents wanted me to let you know that they wanted to surprise like our teacher with like a cake, with her favorite kind of cake, you know, to celebrate her birthday. And I was like, "A, that is the world's worst idea. Why would you surprise a teacher in their place of work while they're trying to educate your children? That's a terrible idea." But yeah, no, I snitched so fast. I was like, "Just so you know, in case some parents walk in later, this is going to happen." Luckily, that didn't happen.
I had nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I was like, "I am letting you know as soon as I found out." But
if this happens, I have moved to Peru.
luckily, because of COVID regulations, parents are not allowed on campus. We've kept that rule that just overall parents are just not allowed on campus. Some parents blatantly ignore that rule, and we can't really enforce it anymore because now the CDC has officially announced that the pandemic is over.
Yeah.
You know, there's nothing we can do.
It blows my mind that it came like 4 years later, and we haven't like had any mandates or anything in such a long time. You haven't had to wear like masks for like the last 2-ish years. And there hasn't been like really major outbreaks that haven't really been contained. It hasn't really been breaking news, and for like two years, and they're like, "Yeah, it's over."
Something that I love about the pandemic is how much it has normalized masks, and I hope that stays within our culture. Because I've always found it like really interesting how like a lot of Asian cultures wear masks to protect the people around them, and we, you know, just didn't do that. I remember as a child when they suspected I could have chickenpox, and then I didn't. I ended up having like hives. But when they suspected I could have chickenpox, I remember they made me wear a mask. And I was so like ashamed, and I like hid my face behind my mom because of like how embarrassed I was. And looking back, like that shouldn't have been embarrassing. Like it's been stigmatized for so long. But now, like if my kindergartners are being disgusting and their noses are runny and they're not doing anything, I'm gonna be like, "Go put on a mask." Like it's normalized now. Like they're not embarrassed. It's not like an ashamed thing. It's, "Oh, we need to like be germ busters. We need to like prevent our friends and our families from being sick." You know, like. It's a positive thing. It's not a shame thing anymore.
Who
yeah.
Germ bust. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's actually what we do. We call them germ busters.
I think the best part about that is that after you said it super quietly, and you're like, like the confidence just dropped so far. Oh my gosh, no, but I get that. It's just so many things. You look at American culture specifically, and everywhere else you will just find something specific that's just like, why aren't we doing that? Like, one thing that happened, like this is a little while back, but the derailment of the train in Ohio that released like so much dangerous chemicals into the air. Like after that news broke, it like was only out for like a day or two about like, hey, this train derailed, and in those like 2-day span, you learned about all these different trail derailments all over the United States, and it's just like, what? Why? This seems like a problem.
What frustrates me so much is the entire budget for New York transportation system, specifically for subways, is way higher than the entirety of all of Japan's. And if you look at Japan's subways and their public trains, it is safe. It is incredibly clean. Like, it's fantastic. And then you look at New York with, like, freaking rats fighting, like, each other. Like, there's cannibalistic rats in there. It's awful.
But one thing that blew my mind, because I actually know a little bit about, like, Japan, like, railroad systems, is that, like, that is one of the most successful, if not the most successful train like subway design in the world. It works fluidly. If trains are like a minute or two late, it's like a huge problem. Every train is right on time. Every train is super safe. If like a train is late by a few minutes, like conductors, people in charge will get fired. Like, it's a big deal for transportation over there. And we're over here like, the next train to Manhattan is delayed for another hour and 30 minutes, and it's just like,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's wow, good God. But anyways, Grace, what are we doing today?
Okay, so today, if you listen to our previous mini episode, I mentioned, like how physically draining it is to like, constantly come up with topics. And so today we're just going to take it slow. Let's just talk about what's new in our lives. And you know what? Whichever one is like the odd one out, you're just going to be the third wheel. We'll just all vote on it. Like good old season 1 style.
Back to them good old days.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care if you're too happy and the rest of us are sad. If you're too sad and everyone else is okay. Let's make it worse.
That seemed so targeted, and it seemed targeted against you.
I mean, I'm fine. I mean, I feel like everything that happened to me is like comedically tragic. Like I'm fine, but like I'm embarrassed.
Well, Brandon gave us a great conversation on what's new with him.
Yeah.
Stuff and things and final. So that seems pretty cool. I start my new job on Monday.
Nice.
And I was excited until it came. Now I'm no longer looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
I have been enjoying the month off that I've had from working. And now that I have to go to work on Monday, especially since I will still have a final on Wednesday,
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to that. I'm gonna be doing basically what Brandon does in his major, which is not for his minor, which is not my minor.
Tragic. And if you need a recap, Brandon's minor is math.
And also
cybersecurity.
Yeah, cybersecurity.
Oh,
that's what I'm going to be doing.
I totally forgot you have 2 minors.
Yeah,
I forgot.
I also have 2 minors.
Yeah, well, I didn't ask you. It's about Brandon.
My bad.
Dang. What are you minoring in, Steven? What are you minoring?
Because my dad asked about you recently, actually, and he's like, "What is Brandon major in?" And I totally forgot to add cybersecurity.
What are you minoring in, Steven?
I'm minoring in digital interactive games and math, so I will be doing minors in that.
Yeah.
I wanted to also minor in Spanish, but I gave up on that after my first year of computer science and engineering.
Yeah.
Once I learned that I was going to have a full basic 17 credits every semester till I graduate, I was like, "There's no way."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not fun at all. But I'm going to be doing desk IT work, and it's going to be basically telling the entirety of the NDOT program, which is Nevada Department of Transportation, what is wrong with their computer and how to fix it.
Nice.
Yeah, no. Not really. I have to do an entire huge ass seminar on Monday that starts at 8 o'clock or something like that, and I won't get done with seminar stuff until noon, and then there's another 2 hours ish of paperwork signing and other things like that. And then, because of how NDOT works, they want everyone to be on the same pay period, so I won't actually get paid for another 4 weeks after that day. So yeah, it's rough because of the fact that they have to, it's paid bi-weekly, So like the first 2 weeks I'm not going to get paid for until the pay period following that. But yeah, the way they did it, it's annoying and makes me sad. But I am not looking forward to it. I was like, hey, I'll just get a job over the summer, get some money, I'll move for next semester so I don't have to commute all the time. And now that time has come and I'm like, but I really want to play video games over my summer.
Yeah.
I guess it's not going to be too bad though, cuz it'll be a technically morning shift, so it's not gonna be me leaving at 4 p.m. to go to work. I'll be getting home around 5, so that's the good stuff. What about you guys? What else is going on with you?
I will also potentially be working over the summer.
Yeah, what are you gonna be doing again?
Well, I say potentially because our buddy Sean that was on a while ago, his mom needed help at her workplace. Just she works at a law firm, and they have new hires coming in later, and they needed their office cleared out of old paperwork and stuff, and no one just really had time to they're so busy, they just don't have time. So basically, just be helping them clear that and file everything, just kind of organize and do all that over the summer, and then whatever else they need help with.
Got you. How much you gonna make?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm still waiting to hear back from it. But.
Oh, okay. And if you're actually gonna get hired or not?
Yeah.
If not, are you still gonna?
Who wouldn't want to hire a completely unrelated major?
Yeah. I mean, I would like to get some. I would like to. I had.
I noticed.
Yeah. If that doesn't work out, and yeah, I know I will probably apply for something else. But
that's crazy.
I can hear your keyboard clacking away.
Yeah.
What you doing?
What's more important than the podcast?
Exactly.
Thinking.
Thinking of
You're just
what?
like the others before us.
What?
That's right. Steven was going to do a podcast without us originally.
Yeah.
Those were dark times.
The podcast, we talked about this in, I think, the last episode, actually, too.
I know.
Yeah. That podcast was going to be a whole bunch of interesting, weird segments in which we talked about things that would affect no one ever, and no one would have thought about. My favorite was, like, the Who versus Who kind of thing, where it was just, like, you take anything, and we put it up against anything else that's completely random, and we just debate on who would win in a fight. I think our first actual topic was between Dylan and Brandon. Actually, that's not joking.
Well, I have an idea, but who do you think would win?
I said that I think Brandon would, just because at this point in time I had seen the Trumpet video and was like, that fit of rage that would be tough for Dylan to match.
The thing is Brandon is lean, but he is stacked with muscle.
Yeah, Brandon is kind of one of them trees that doesn't look thick enough, and then you kick it, and then your foot is broken.
Pretty much.
I am the Lorax. I speak for the tree. I don't know what's with me.
And I'll break your knees.
Random,
It's because you are just the Lorax. That's why. But yeah, I had decided. I think that was our conversation. But yeah,
my name is Lorax. I speak for the trees, and I'll break your knees.
And then one of the other things that we were gonna be doing was Two Truths and a Lie, and I actually did a stream a few days after we had recorded that episode on my YouTube, where I was just where we were playing Valorant pretty mindlessly, and I was like, all right, gamers, it's Two Truths and a Lie time. And then that's when you guys joined and got a bunch of your friends in on it as well.
Yeah. I do remember that. That was funny.
That was one of the
I do not recall that.
That was like one of the biggest chats I've ever had, just because of all of your friends joining all at the same time. I was like, oh my gosh.
I did. I texted everybody that I knew. I didn't even care if I was close to them. I was like, you need to join this stream right now.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah,
I think I was playing like VR.
You were one of the people I was messaging, Brandon.
I was just mindlessly playing Valorant with a bunch of friends, and it was just like, it's 2 truths and a lie time. And I kept saying stuff, and I embarrassed myself. And I don't remember what my 2 truths and lies were, but I know that...
I do remember, though.
You do?
I do remember that.
Oh, you remember I was like, you remember what my truths and lies were?
I do, but I'm just not gonna say them here.
Well, I don't remember what they were.
Because they were oddly personal. I don't think we need to get this personal on the podcast.
I can cut all this part out if it gets too personal, in my opinion.
No, it's okay.
I don't remember what they were, but I just remember that they were enough to be like, I'm not gonna post this live stream anymore.
Yeah, one of them was dark.
I don't remember any of them, so
you mentioned something about like how you got like assaulted or something.
Oh yeah,
something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was more because at that point in time I just didn't care anymore. And I had moved past that is the correct way to say that. I had moved past that, and I was no longer upset or affected by it. But yeah, that was more for messing with, because Dylan and Eric are honestly like the people that I can make jokes with about that kind of stuff.
I was very concerned for your mental health after you said that.
Because the one thing is that like for a lot of other things, I have like specific people I go to talk about whatever. I talk to Jake about pretty much everything. But when it came to stuff like that, to just help the healing process and get over it, it was like one of those things where it's just like, I just need to laugh. I just need to be able to you know, to crack a joke and you know, be able to just smile on a topic related to something like this.
Well, I came from the opposite of, I have had other people go through something very similar, and I've been like yelled at and berated for even bringing up anything mentioning the topic.
Oh yeah.
And so I've learned to do the opposite and not mention it, because you know, everybody just deals with pain and trauma differently, you know.
Right. And yeah, and that's why with like that stuff specifically, when I was going through it, was really easy to just like be upfront about it, at least with Eric, because yeah, it was just really easy to spew all that stuff out and then crack some jokes and let him know that it was okay to make a few comments here and there.
Yeah.
Because when you're first starting to get to know Eric, he always comes off as like an asshole, and like, to be fair, he still is. Like I'm not gonna say that he's not. He definitely is when it comes to some of that stuff. But like and especially when you're first getting to know him, because you don't know like what his kind of like unwritten rules are, you kind of go over those when you start to get closer with him. But yeah, it's like he will always kind of like reciprocate the energy that he feels is being given off unless he's told otherwise, and some people don't tell him otherwise all the time, and so that's when people are just like, God, he's such an asshole. And it's like,
okay, but I feel like at a certain point he needs to read the room though.
Oh yeah, for sure, and that's why I said I won't let him get away with just not being an asshole, because he's also aware that like he can just be an asshole all the time. So, well, yeah, that was what happened right after we did that, like that part of the segment. I was streaming and we did that, and I think I used the same stuff, the same truths and lies, because I've read a bunch of them, and I just used the ones that we didn't do in the episode.
And then we just like harassed you for a while. We were like asking a ton of things. Well, that's because we were asking like a ton of things that like didn't make sense.
I don't remember what it was. It stopped being.
It was like random crap. Like, oh well, if your mom was born on the 4th of July and your dad died in October, what's your favorite color? A, B, or C?
Yeah. I don't know. It was really funny because yeah, it was just a mindless stream of Valorant, and then all of a sudden there's just like a whole bunch of people in my chat, and a bunch of people being like, "Hey, what's your favorite banana?" And it's like just so many random things going on. I quite enjoyed that. And that was a while ago too.
You like couldn't even keep track of them all.
Well, yeah, because it would be you would say a question in like six different entries.
Yeah, we would have like by the time he read one comment, we'd already be on to the next conversation topic.
Yeah. You guys were having your own conversation too for quite some time as well, just debating on other things to ask me, and I was like, why are you debating on what to ask me in my own chat as if I can't see what you're talking about?
Well, that was part of what made it so funny.
Yeah, I have two screens and my chat is on the other screen, but like that's a complete 90-degree angle turn away from where I am sitting. So it's like just out of my peripheral vision enough to where I don't see when new chats came in. And so when you guys first arrived, it took a long time for you to get my attention because I was like, playing a game, looked over, and I was like, Jesus Christ, hello, hi, what is happening?
Weren't there like 20 people there or something?
It was 20 plus at one point, yeah.
Yeah.
It was, it was and still is my biggest stream that I've had up until this day. Because,
You're welcome.
There were so many people in there. Twitch didn't know how to handle it. Twitch was fucking, or YouTube didn't know how to handle it. It was just like, there's so many, yeah, there's so many more people than normal. What is that? But yeah, no, I still kind of think about like what would have been of that podcast if we had actually kept doing it. Eric and I were super down to keep doing it, but we determined that it probably wasn't going to work out. Just stop doing stuff like that.
It's funny though.
It was pretty funny. I was enjoying it.
Apparently so much that you had to make another podcast.
Yeah. Well, because I enjoyed the podcast environment and I like making podcasts. I gathered that. Episodes. Did you? You sure?
The whole who wants to do a podcast with me thing kind of, you know.
If I had gotten no answers back from that, I would have tried to do it by myself. I would have so tried. I don't know what I would have done, but I would have figured it out.
I'm glad I saved you from a fate like that. That's kind of depressing.
Hey! It's following a passion.
I'm sorry, I just find that's really sad.
I'm exploring my hobbies.
It'd be just kind of like an audio version of YouTube, like an audio only version of YouTube. Just
pretty much, except like I would be coming up with whatever stuff to talk. It would have to be if you're doing milk. Yeah, I would be talking about 3% milk. It would have to be one of those it would end up being one of those podcasts just addressing stuff in the world. It wouldn't be anything else because I wouldn't be able to be like, let's play a game, because that's not how it works.
Yeah, you can't rip off of people.
Exactly, so and that's like dynamic. My main bit. my main bit
ripping off of people.
Yeah, well, also, I thought she said riff off. But yeah, also ripping off.
Well, yeah, to riff off of somebody's, you know, like...
Oh, did you say riff?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. Rip. Yeah, that was my bad.
I heard her correctly. Freaking gaslighter over here. Gaslighting me.
I rip off Steven all the time.
Yeah.
No, but we do rip off other podcasts sometimes, but we give credit, so it's okay.
We definitely give credit. Several episodes hosted by Brennan and me are pulled directly from Distractable, and we're just like, we didn't do this, but we want to do it because it's funny.
And then there's me. I don't have patience to listen to other podcasts, so.
Yeah, well, it's you got your commute, and that's where you listen to your podcasts.
Well, no, commute? Because I have a local radio show that I like to listen to every morning at 7:10. It's Are You Smarter Than Katie? It's the Sacramento Wake Up Call. I love it. I live for it.
Katie or KD?
KT? Katie?
Okay. I was like,
actually, now I don't know. Because it's like it's spelled with a T, but they say Katie. Are you smarter than Katie?
Well, when you say KD, I think Kevin Durant.
No. What's so funny is they actually have a guy on the show. His name is Intern Kevin.
Yeah, I would love for that to be Kevin Durant.
It is not.
Why not?
I don't know. I'll get back to you on that one.
What else is going on with you guys?
So I had something. Brandon knows about this, and so do you. But we can pretend you don't know.
All right, I'm pretending.
I had something really embarrassing happen to me recently. I think you already know where I'm going with this.
Maybe.
So I like I said in the previous mini episode, I have not been mentally well for a while. And so I think that this also might have impaired me just a little bit in my decision-making skills because I was so sad. But, see, I was dropping my sister off at class. We work at the same school, but she's also at school. So I was dropping her off so she didn't have to walk just because she wasn't feeling, like, the best. So, see, on the way back from dropping her off, I heard a very, very loud popping noise. And then I was like, oh shit, like that's like fuck, like did I pop my tire? And I was like, no, I'm so over dramatic, always looking for the negatives. I was like, no, I'm fine. And then I was like basically already back at work by the time it happened. Like I was turning the corner to where my school was. So I parked and I looked at it and I was like, it kind of looks fine. It might be leaking air. I don't know. We'll find out later. But it looks fine for now. And yeah. So I went back to work naturally because I have to work to survive. And
what? That doesn't sound right.
And then so school ends, and so I go out there, and I look at the tire, and I'm just kind of like, and I'm like, I think this is flat, question mark. So, I mean, to be fair, like, it obviously wasn't like a fully blown tire. Like, I was very aware that it wasn't fully blown. Like, that would be obvious. But I was like, I can't tell if there's, like, punctured and there's, like, a leak.
Right.
It looks kind of flat, whatever. And so I took a picture and I was like, Mom, I can't tell if my tire's flat. Like what do you think? And she's like, I mean, yeah, it looks kind of flat. I just call AAA, I guess. And so I was like, damn, okay, I guess my tire's flat. And so I call AAA, and after waiting for like give or take like an hour, maybe a little less, the guy shows up. His name is Ben, and it's Ben. His name was Ben. And then and then yeah, he was like a really happy-go-lucky guy, and he's like, oh yeah, like we've got a side business of like scrapping cars, and I can completely survive off of that alone because it's so profitable. But my whole thing is like, when it comes to benefits and healthcare is like the line, which is why I'm working here. But you know what, I enjoy my work, and I'm like, you know what, good for you, guy. I've been depressed, but you know what, your attitude is just really like inspiring. I love it. And then I didn't tell you this part of the story, but I was like, I've been down lately just because I work at that school right there because I was parked literally like right across the street from it, and I was like, I'm also like doing school at the same time, and it's really stressful. So seeing people like you that are like so happy and positive all the time is like great. And he's like, bring it in, man. And I was like, what? So I ended up hugging my AAA, guy, and then yeah. So I had a spare, so he switched out my tire. So flash forward to the next day, because there's nothing I can really do about it then. So the next day, my mom's like, I was going to go drive down to Reno for the weekend to go see Brandon. And then essentially you know, my mom was just like, you know, just go bring it into like America's Tires. Like, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. Just ask if they can like, you know, like fix the tire, and if not, like how much a replacement would be. And I was like, okay, bet.
Mhm.
So I bring it in, right, and like I show him the tire, and he's just kind of like looking at it, and I'm like, you know, like, and suddenly I have this epiphany as he's looking at my tire, and I was like, and I told him, and I'm like, if that tire is not flat, I am so sorry. And so he's like, no, it's okay. Like, there might be like a slow leak or something. Like, I'm gonna go take it to like get it tested. You know, like put it in like water and whatever, and stuff like that. So I was like, okay. So my mom gets here like right as I'm talking to the guy, and I kind of told my mom, I was like, Mom, I have a sneaking suspicion that my tire's gonna be fine. So I go into this lobby, and we're waiting for them because we also asked for them to rotate my tires since you know like we're already there, and and so I'm talking to my mom, and I'm like, Mom, like you know I'm stupid dumb with cars, you know. And I was like, you know, they're going to test it. We don't know. It was a really, really loud sound. And I sent you a picture too. And I was like, really, to be honest, I think it's Ben's fault because he didn't say it wasn't flat. And I was like, you think the AAA driver would have like said something? And she's like, well, he gets paid to take off the tire anyway. And I'm like, he gets paid just for showing up. He could tell me that the tire isn't flat. And so my mom pulls up the picture, and she's looking at it. And there's this guy who's been across from us who's low-key been listening in on the conversation, right? Because it's so intriguing about how, like, a dumbass, like, 20-year-old couldn't recognize that her tire wasn't flat. And so, my mom turns to this guy and goes, you know what? I think that we need, like an outside opinion. And she goes, sir, do you think that this picture of this tire looks flat? And he goes, and then he looks in shock because he's been wondering what this picture that I've been talking about is. And he's like, that is not a flat tire. He's like, at most it's just low air pressure. And I was like, great. This is fantastic. Yeah, this is great. So, yeah, I was really, really fucking embarrassed.
Why?
And so, because I was like, hey, Mom, I was like, well, that's not my fault I'm bad at cars. I'm a 20-year-old child. And my mom and the guy looked at me with, like, such disgust that I said that. I was a 20-year-old child. I was like, I'm a 20-year-old child. And they were just like, what the fuck's wrong with you? But anyway, turns out my tire was fine. So they just put it back on.
They didn't even, did they fill it up at least a little bit?
No, they did. Okay. They like
just slapped it back on.
No, because they checked the tire pressure for all of them, and they made sure they were up to like whatever it was. So yeah, gotcha. No, my tire ended up being fine. I hated myself. I ended up calling Brandon crying, which you also heard me because you guys were in the library.
Our freaking CPE project.
Yeah, the phone picks up, and all I hear, Brandon doesn't even say like hello first. Grace is just going off, and Brandon says, "I can't tell if you're laughing or crying." And I looked at him, and I was like, "Dude, I'm pretty sure she's crying."
I heard you like laugh so hard that you also sound like that, so I was genuinely asking, like, do I need to get into like comfort mode or like be like, oh, what are you laughing at?
Should I be sitting down for this?
What's so funny is my first instinct was, Brandon, please don't tell your stepdad. Because I knew he was going to make fun of me and roast me and never let me forget it for the rest of my life. I was like, Brandon, I'm going to look for you to comfort, but also don't tell your stepdad.
Brandon, did you tell your stepdad?
I did not.
Good man. Good man.
But yeah, no, so I was horrified. And the worst part is I was supposed to pick up my sister that day, and so I did end up picking her up, but way later, because I was like, hey, actually, like, the guy's here and putting on the spare, like, I can pick you up. I did not tell her because I'm also worried about what she's gonna do with that information. And I already feel so stupid, like, as it is.
Fair enough.
I don't need that. Like, I've learned. Like, I feel like some people don't understand that shame and embarrassment are, like, a punishment in itself.
Yeah.
Like, I will never forget the time I got hardcore judged by that random man in America's Tires. Oh my god. Yeah, so that's the most significant thing that happened in my life recently.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't had anything really significant happen apart from it just being finals week and I'm going to work soon. The only other, like, I guess significant thing that would have like happened is that, like, I guess my parents are going to Alaska, but that doesn't affect me. So
I thought you were gonna say it was going to get a divorce, and I was like,
yeah, the only other significant thing are that my parents are leaving each other. And
that's why I was like, huh?
That's
what a way
like
to announce this on a podcast.
But that's like barely significant. No, my parents are going to Alaska, and I was going to be going with them, but it turns out that I'm not anymore. So.
Oh, well, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I forget my friends come from complete families, because growing up, I was only friends with people from, like, divorced families being raised by single mothers, which was like what I had growing up. So I remember going to complete families' houses. I remember I was, like, in shock. Like, when I went to Brandon's house for the first time, I was like, there's a man in here. I was like, there's always a man here.
Why is there a guy here?
No, literally. I don't mean this in, like, a depressing way. I forget people have, like, dads. Like, and don't get me wrong, like, I love my dad. My dad was just never super present in my childhood. I think you can relate, Steven.
Yeah.
But I did not see my dad at all. He had, like, weekend custody, but he also traveled a lot for business. So I only ever saw him, like, about, like, 2 weekends out of the month, you know? Not a lot of time with my dad.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, it's a lot stronger and a lot better now that I'm an adult, but yeah, no, growing up, I was always like, oh, you're, like, from a normal family. I was like, that's weird. That's why you're like that, because you had support. I was like, everything's falling into place. I was wondering how you became so well-adjusted. It's because you're not traumatized. That makes sense. I was like, I should have known. The lack of spice in your personality. Lack of trauma.
Damn.
All I'm saying, lack of spice equals lack of trauma.
Fair enough, yeah.
Name one interesting or funny person that is not, like, traumatized in some way. I remember I was doing.
You didn't even give a chance for an answer.
No, because while you're thinking, I'm trying to tell you someone I did. So when I was in theater in high school, one of our exercises is you were randomly paired up with someone in your class and you interview them, and you take a snippet from that interview and you act it out, like, with their mannerisms, the way they, like, responded, you know.
Oh yeah.
Which, it was really cool. Like, it was a great exercise. However, for her, I was like, oh, I was bullied, I have an eating disorder, like, I'm depressed, you know?
And she's just like,
well, she's like, you know, like, I have a lot of respect for you. Like, I never would have known you would have gone through all that and stuff. And I was like, and then I was asking questions one by one. She's like, oh, like, I have a great relationship with my siblings, with my parents. Like, I love my parents. Like, I'm from, like, a great, like, upper middle class, like, wealthy family. Like, never been depressed. Like, never was bullied. She's like, pretty, like, societally pretty. And so I was like, you're not very interesting. Like, I was trying to, like, get, like, some, like, emotional response out of her, which was the point. It was to find, like, something, like, emotional to, like, attach yourself to to like perform, but it was like, my dad works in IT. Like, I was like, okay. I was like, you are so normal and well-adjusted. You're too boring for me. Like, you're nice, but like, I need some spice, and you're not it.
I thought you were gonna like the story was gonna end with like once you told her all these things and she was like, I have so much respect for you. Her acting out was just like some of the most horrific things you've ever seen. Not because it was bad acting, but because she was just like straight up just insulting everything that you had just said.
I don't fully remember hers. I just remember mine was a train wreck. Mine was awful because I procrastinated, didn't memorize it, and I picked the worst snippet where like from the interview where over half of the video was me asking the questions while having an aneurysm, and everybody's like, God damn, like, why is your question this long and drawn out? Literally, people were like actually asking, like, they were like, geez, like, why is this so long? Like, while the video was playing, because basically you act it out and then like you see the video after for comparison, like to see like if the mannerisms and like the voice acting was like spot on. Everyone was like, geez, what, like, why the fuck did you like why was over half your video you stammering over one question? And you know what? I get secondhand embarrassment thinking about that. I really do.
Oh, that's fair.
mean, what's so horrible to say is I loved theater so much, but like everything else in my life that I loved, I procrastinated on it, which kind of ruined the experience for other people, and I feel really guilty on that looking back. But funnily enough, she was also white, so that lack of spice just really like, multiple layers of no spice. But you can bleep out this name, but her name was Kelly.
Oh no!
Which made it even funnier, I think, because it's such like a white name to have. It's like Kelly. I think her last name was Cook or something. Yeah.
You said Cook, right?
Yeah, Kelly Cook.
I thought you said Cuck. I was like, oh no.
No, her name was like Kelly Cook or something like that.
Got you.
Just a very white name. And again, very sweet girl. She was just so normal and so well adjusted. She almost seemed like kind of naive to like the darkness of the world. I was like,
she's too innocent to be true.
I was like, you're just a little ray of sunshine, but that sunshine creates shadows for other people, so you can be over there.
That's fair.
But anyway, she's nice. I follow her on Instagram. Her life's going great, and I'm happy for her, but like she's not really someone I like emotionally connected with.
That's fair.
Happy for her. Don't really like want like that super close connection. She was also in the grade below me too, which was another like thing. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
That's my life. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it because I know I did.
Your TED Talk.
That's from she was super popular on Disney Channel. She did crap.
Mm-hmm.
I can picture her face. Why can I not?
Well, describe it.
Oh my god, she's very generic and white. I can name like the roles she did, but not like her actual name.
All right, let's try it. Let's test the knowledge.
Okay, she played Sam in another Cinderella story where she was Princeton girl or whatever in like a Princeton chat room. Where essentially she wanted to go to Princeton, but she couldn't pay for it because of her stepmother that stole everything from her father's will.
What else?
And then,
because that did nothing for me.
My God, I'm trying to think of her most iconic role. It was she did this. I forget what the name of the movie was called. But this was also another Disney original movie where like her mom remarries like a sergeant, not a sergeant. What's the higher up guy that's like in charge of people in the military?
Captain, general, lieutenant.
I think it was a lieutenant. I think it was like a lieutenant at like at a base, and so because her mom got remarried, she went to like the military school for the kids there. And like, she's like a spoiled little rich girl who like gets thrown into like obstacle courses and incredibly hard classes. So She was like in the most obscure stuff, and she was so popular. Oh my gosh! And I can't remember like her most famous thing.
Is it? Are you talking about the movie Cadet Kelly?
Yes.
Okay, I think you're talking about Hilary Duff.
Yes.
Okay.
Hilary Duff.
Okay.
What is her most famous role again? She did like something McGuire or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Lizzie McGuire. She was Lizzie McGuire, I think.
Yeah. Lizzie McGuire.
Thank you for playing. It's so much more fun to describe it than Google it.
You wanna know where I know her from?
What?
Cheaper by the dozen.
I love that so much.
Yeah, both Cheaper by the Dozens. That's where I know her from.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh gosh. What brought this up again?
I said that's my life. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it because I know I did. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, Brandon, do you got anything you want to do, say, stuff? I hear keyboard typing like all the time. What's going on over there?
I don't know, conspiring something. I don't know.
You want to tell us what you're conspiring?
Well, I don't have kidney issues. That's always good.
You should talk more about that because I don't think you talked about that on the podcast.
Well.
Yeah, no, he did not.
So, I don't know, like, what. I don't know what the what rules are for medical stuff on the internet, but I have a family history of just having low platelets, and I know, shock, I have low platelets.
What?
I think the term that the person I was diagnosed with was thrombocytopenia. I don't think I pronounced that correctly, but that's ballpark what it is.
Look that up and you'll find something.
Yeah.
I'm sure I have it.
Basically, if I bleed, I bleed hard. And
wow.
And it may take a little bit longer for the blood to clot and stuff like that than it would people who don't have that. So, basically, like, if I ever need to get surgery or something like that, they just gotta like let them know, so that way either I think they do stuff where they basically give I don't know, it's like a blood transfusion or something. They basically give you more platelets, or they just keep note of that, so if like you do bleed more or whatever, they can control it, whatever. But apparently, because it's also like, I think something that it's white blood cell related. They needed to. I also have a history of family history with like breast cancer and stuff like that. So they needed to check me for like cancer and stuff like that. And
you have breast cancer?
No.
Breast cancer, the best cancer.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
No.
Not support breast cancer here.
I'm wearing a pink shirt actually.
See, we support breast cancer awareness. Not breast cancer, breast cancer awareness.
Yeah.
See, we support breast cancer here.
Yeah, so I don't have cancer. That's good. Yeah. Except when they were giving me all these blood tests, having me do all these blood tests and stuff, they were looking and they were like, your kidney function looks a little high. And the reason why that was a concern is because my mother has kidney issues. I forget what the exact medical term was it for, but basically it causes, one, high kidney function, and it causes her to generate a lot of kidney stones. And so I was like, oh no. Yeah. So they had me do another blood test, and my kidney. They told me to. My doctor said to call her back. On like the following Monday, and just to see the results. And I was like, okay. So I tried to call back that Monday, and the reception answers, and I just say like, hey, my doctor says she wanted me to call her just so she could tell me the results and all that stuff. And they're like, okay, 1 second. So I sat on hold for a few minutes, and then they get back to me and they're like, oh, she's kind of busy right now with other patients, so we'll give you a call back later. And I was like, okay. And so I'm just kind of waiting there all day, and I don't get a call back. And it's like about 20 minutes before the office closes, and so yeah, you and the people we were with could kind of just like, yeah, just call them back or something.
Yeah.
And so I called them back. And I was just like, hey, I tried calling earlier. I just want to like make sure that, like, because our library just has some really spotty Wi-Fi or just cellular reception in general. Because literally, you, Steven, and my mom called me around the same time one day, and I just didn't get a ringtone. I just got a notification for voicemails. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so I was just explaining that to them. I was like, I just want to make sure you guys didn't like try to call me or something. And like, yeah, like, and they're like, oh yeah, no, I'll just write a note or whatever, make sure that they know you called. And I was like, okay, that's all I wanted to know, because if anything, I just didn't want it to be my fault that I didn't do something wrong or anything. So yeah, no, it was like 2 days later, and I get a call, and it wasn't even my doctor. It was just I think one of the lab people, and they're like, yeah, no, your kidney function was normal. Just drink water. Like, okay. I feel like I drink water pretty regularly, so I was like, okay, I guess I will drink more water more regularly.
Can't imagine doing that. Could not imagine.
Moral of the story: just drink water. Drink water.
I don't think that's what the moral of the story was. I think the moral of the story is your kidneys are fine.
And drink water. Water's good for you, I think. Yeah.
You think?
I would say so. I'm not a medical professional, but I would say so.
Yeah, don't be telling people about their medicine and stuff, you computer science major. Get out of here.
Sorry. It's out of my field.
Know your place. Alright, well, anyways, to wrap this up, does anyone have anything else they want to say before we do that?
Drink water.
Your mama.
Alright.
Breast cancer, best cancer.
God damn it.
Wow.
Breast cancer to die from. Okay. I need to stop. Okay, we're done.
Yeah, probably. Maybe just a little bit.
I've been cut off.
Episode's over.
Maybe cancel.
Okay, bye.
See you later. Alright, well, going back to old school style, we place a vote on who we think is the third wheel. Yeah, we need to decide the third wheel.
I know.
Yeah, that was a joke. I wasn't actually ending the episode right there. Who wants to cast the first stone?
Not me.
Not
Jesus,
me.
No, okay, fine.
Jesus is casting the first stone.
I was gonna say because Jesus isn't here.
Oh.
Fine.
Alright, wheel time.
What?
Said wheel time.
I'm not grabbing a wheel. We vote. What the fuck?
That's not what I said.
Yeah, we're voting, Brandon.
God.
We vote today on who the third wheel is. And I'm pointing and throwing my stone at you, sir.
Whoa, hey, whoa. Why?
For 2 reasons. Okay. 1, your obsessive keyboard clacking the entirety of the episode makes it seem like you have something more important to do. And 2, fuck your wheel.
Why my wheel?
Yeah, fuck your wheel idea. But yeah, my stone is thrown at you.
I'm not gonna lie.
My defense
I wasn't really listening to anything that Steven said, so give me a quick recap of what he said.
I had excessive keyboard tapping.
No. Like, throughout the entire episode.
Oh.
I talked about my job coming up.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
The different, like, circuit thingies, and then I also was talking to you about freaking the woman whose name I already forgot.
I would also
Hillary Duff.
I'd like to vote for Brandon because he does not know who Hillary Duff is.
I don't know who that is.
What?
Okay, so we have our third wheel.
Wait! I want to cast my stone, even if it doesn't matter. I want to
pick yourself, or what's happening?
Okay. So
you don't even know who Hillary Duff is.
I vote not myself because I was clacking my keyboard because clacking it that helps me focus more. Doing other stuff while talking helps me focus more.
There are silent things you can do. I have got you so many fidget cubes and fidget toys.
Well yeah.
Yeah.
So you just left, and then I said, well, I vote Steven because he abandoned the podcast and he's not here with us anymore.
I'm here right now.
Well, you weren't earlier, so I vote you.
Well, your vote doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
Well, you know what? Suck it, because you're our third wheel, Brandon. What do you have to say?
I'm actually not the third wheel. Steven is.
That's not how that works.
Dude. He has a free pass from our episode right now.
Yeah, Steven, you're third wheel right now.
So the one episode in which you lost and had a third wheel pass because of your own stupid rule, you took it in the ass. But on the one with conversation, the one where it's just conversation and small talk, you're gonna make me the third wheel when you're over here just fucking going to town on your keyboard. Alright, fine.
I'm sorry, Steven. I tried. I really tried.
You suck. You know what, Brandon?
Some lessons in life are that no matter how hard you try, sometimes you just
get a free third wheel pass.
And you know what, Brandon?
Yeah.
I'm gonna make next episode not enjoyable for you.
Why
Yay! Works for me.
You're not gonna enjoy next episode.
Good.
My loser's speech is that Brandon sucks ass, and no matter how many times I asked him, "What are you doing on your keyboard?" I never got an answer.
I was fishing.
You're fucked. Oh my god!
Like I said, doing that helps me. It helps my brain blood flow.
Fishing does not require you to use your keyboard. I hate to break that to you.
Well, moving around to get to the good spots does.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What's so funny is I've been looking at his glasses, and I thought he was doing coding or something, but I realized that was literally just chat and coordinates. Oh my god, I thought you were doing your stuff for your class. You're just playing Minecraft.
Yeah, let it be known that this is a Minecraft server that Brandon and I are on, and that I will be dropping the address to in the description of the video.
Are we supporting Minecraft servers now?
I love this Minecraft server. I support this Minecraft server.
Is it a small server or is it a big one?
It's a small server.
Then yeah, publicity.
Yeah, it's a small server. I've even applied to be a mod for that server.
Wow. Which is his username is Mr. Bowcraft, which coincidentally is also his YouTube handle. Go check out his YouTube. We occasionally cameo. It's a great time.
It is an occasional cameo, and it's only occasional because I occasionally upload.
I know, it's super funny. Some series we're there consistently. Some it's just Phasmophobia, sprinkle here.
Well, yeah, no, I busted out the forest super quickly because I was like, all right, when Sons of the Forest comes out, we're playing it, and then we haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
We still haven't played it yet. It's been a good
We'll do it in June.
Sounds good. All right, but Alright, well, Grace, since you didn't get a speechy thingy, you want to send us off then?
Well, no breast cancer, no kidney diseases. Steven already doesn't like his job.
Woo!
Yeah. Happy third wheel.
Good job, buddy.
There's nothing wrong with being the third wheel, even if you contribute a lot to the episode, or making topical points and helping Grace remember who Hilary Duff is. I'm sad.